Welcome, quilters. Let's talk about the bird bracket chain and border designs. This tool happens to be one of my favorites. Come see why. All right, so let's talk border designs. And the bird bracket chain got its name because it looks like a bird in flight. Okay? Well, it also looks like the bracket around numbers or words. And so that's how it got its name, bird bracket chain. And I love it because it's got all these lovely curves and it's got this point. So we know we're going to get a point because in looking at the tool, we come to a stop and we change our direction. So let's play with some really simple border designs and then show you how to make them intricate. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work with the middle size because you know, that big size will do great on some 6-inch borders, but I just got a little piece and let's get you some designs going. So I'm going to work with the next largest. Actually, I think I'll work with the next smallest size so you can get some idea of the designs it will do. And I'm going to start with the lovely lines that are on, easy to see lines that are on my template. And this could be the center line of your border, or it could be the seam of your border, whatever works for you, however you want to do this. But we're going to create some big long lines. So I'm going to line this up. Let's bring up our bobbin thread and let's lock in that stitch. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create borders. Now this design is going to have cross points. And rather than stitch down and down all on one side, and then have to try and make some V's match up, which is never particularly easy for me to do. I'm going to cross over. Not sure what I mean? Hang on and watch for a moment. So now I'm going to stitch from one side of my template, one side of the center line, down to the other end, and I'm going to stop. Now, I could just slide down, but that means I've got V's I have to match up with, and I don't do that well. So instead of just sliding down, I'm going to twist my template around, and I'm going to go to the other side of my center. Then when I come back up, I'll create cross points. Trust me, just watch. Slide around, drop down, let's do this one more time. All right, now I want to close up these birds. So I'm going to come down, hook onto there, and reline up to go back up. And now you're going to see how we're going to create cross points. Okay, now I'm going to cross. Go to the other side. So let's look at this a little closer. Instead of trying to make two V's match up by coming down one side and then going up the other, instead, I'm crossing over that center line, and when I go back up, I'm crossing again. And now I have crisp cross points, and I don't have to try and make any V's match up. The other nice thing about this is it's a lot easier for me to make adjustments if I had a stitch slightly wonky or something kind of shifted. I can make the adjustment and it will still look like a nice cross point. So let's finish this whole design, and then we're going to do it again so you can see some variations. Hold on. All right. So now you can see we have a very lovely design. I have a lot of people who think these look like Christmas ornaments, and they kind of do. You could come in here with some stripes, you could come in here with some circles, and you'd have a line of Christmas ornaments for a Christmas tree. But hang on while I put this in a second time, and I'm going to show you a variation you can do that looks just awesome. Okay, we have two designs side by side. They're identical. Let's make one of them what I like to call a Rice Krispie treat design. Make it look like you did a whole bunch of work, but don't actually do anything difficult. Okay? What we're going to do is what I call an interlocking design. And what we're going to do is I'm going to raise my needle and go down halfway. Okay? And then I'm going to drop my needle, lock in that stitch, because we'll cut that jump stitch later. And I'm going to do the same thing we just did and interlock the design. So now we have an interlocked design. Both designs are perfectly viable, but you see how this one looks a lot more intricate than this one. Simple and easy to do. Let me show you another variation. When you're in a hurry and you want to get the design done, but you don't want just a simple design, we're going to play with the tool that has more than one size to it. So we're going to work with the second largest and the smallest. And we're going to line up again. Maybe this is the seam of a sashing. And we're going to go forward with a larger size. We're going to switch to the smallest size. And we're not going to go the same direction. We're actually going to go backwards. Okay, so you're going to do this as a forward, backwards, forwards, backwards. And every time you do, you want to flip to the other side of your line. So now we're going to go backwards. Then we're going to go forward. Make sure you stay with the same two. Now we're going to go backwards. Now we're going to go forwards. And to finish it off, I'm just going to go up to my edge. What do you think? Will that fill a border for you quite nicely? So a lot of people look at this one and say, oh, I could put this in flying geese. Well, you can, absolutely. And a lot of people like to put it in a simple, straight up and down. Let's put this in. Let's put this one in here. And you can follow along the seam to go straight up. And I can manage all of maybe 3 before I get bored. And you guys all know what happens when I get bored. It's never, well, it is good, but you know, 3's my max. That's it. I can't do this anymore. I have trouble doing the same design over and over again. So I came up with what I call the wiggle. And it's really just a pivot. But I like it because, as many of you know already, I don't piece the straightest in the world, and so I need my designs to be able to fluctuate. And using the wiggle design hides a lot of problems in my quilts. So what I'm going to do when I wiggle is wherever I've stopped, that's my pivot point. And so I'm going to pivot until just about where I will be able to get a design, the stitch line, real close to that nose. And I'm going to go up. Okay, and now I'm going to pivot again. Okay, and the nicest thing about this is you can do whatever you want you can pivot as much or as little as you want. But now I get flying geese that aren't straight on. And do you know what happens then? Everybody assumes that if the seams aren't straight, it must be an optic illusion, and I will take all the help I can get. So you can see the perfectly lovely design that you can put inside of flying geese and hide a multitude of scents. I'm all about that. So you can see there's a lot of different designs. The designs will look different whether you're deciding which two to put together. This is the two smallest. You can see they overlap more. This is the second largest and the smallest, so they open up a bit more. You have lots of options. You can put in a drop into a design, which is always a nice little design factor. They will fit inside of smaller blocks, so you can fill them either on the inside or on the outside. And here are the larger geese wiggling their way up the border. So I hope you enjoy the bird bracket chain. It also makes lovely block designs, which is another video. The bird bracket chain has 4 different sizes. They come in 3 different thicknesses, and we have a set of instructions on our website that are available as a download. I hope you enjoy the bird bracket chain and have lots of fun flying with those birds.